Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today, we've got another single release show, a very notable one that just came out this past Friday, May the 10th. I think you guys are well aware of what I'm going to be talking about here. There we go. The brand new Whitesnake album, Flesh and Blood. Hot off the presses. And if you turn around the back, it says Flesh and Blood, Skin and Bone, but I think the official title is Flesh and Blood. So anyway, and sorry for my little hoarseness here today. I was at the Michael Schenker Fest show in New York City last night doing a lot of singing and what have you, so I'm a little throaty this morning, but that's okay. Give a little different timbre to my voice here. So anyway, back to the Whitesnake album. So this has been 4 years in the making. So the last studio album the band released was the Purple album in 2015. Of course, that was the band kind of reimagining a lot of the Deep Purple classics, but the last album of all new material from the band was 2011, the Forevermore album, which was a really, really strong album, okay? One of my favorites of the band probably since the 87 album. Really, really strong. Since then, they've had a couple lineup changes, right? But the lineup they have now is actually been pretty solid now for a number of years. In fact, the last two times I've seen the band live, they've had the same lineup. So, of course, we've got David Coverdale on vocals, all right, Reb Beach on lead guitars, Joel Hoekstra on co-lead guitars. Joel, of course, came over from Night Ranger. Michael Devin on bass, okay. The legendary Tommy Aldridge on drums. I mean, Tommy, he's always got to be there. It's hard to think of Whitesnake without Tommy Aldridge at this point. And then on keyboards, Michele Lupi. I believe that's how he says his name. Michael Lupi or Michele Lupi. He's an Italian guy. I'm pretty sure that's how he says his name. Anyway, this lineup has been together now for a number of years. And this is the first all-new studio release of all new original materials by this lineup. So it's really cool to hear, even though this lineup also did the Purple album. This is the first album new material from this lineup. So really, really good. So I have here the Deluxe edition. All right, let's kind of take a look at the package there. There's the guys, right? Okay, got all sorts of stuff in here. So here is the booklet. Let's take a look through the booklet. As always, from the Frontiers Records guys, you get quality all the way, so all the lyrics that you can read along and sing along to it. There's the guys again. What else we got here? More lyrics. All right, credits and thank yous and fun stuff and all that good shit, right? So, how's the music, you say? Well, I happen to like this album a lot. So, of course, it's only been out a couple days, and I've probably listened to this about 4 times. But I have heard, they released a few songs early, so people can kind of get a feel for the album. The very, very first song that they released as a video and single was Shut Up and Kiss Me, which I think I made the mistake of kind of listening to that song for the first time by watching the video. And the video is really cheesy and kind of 80s cliche ridden, and I think that kind of ruined the experience for me. Because I think the song is actually a lot better than the way it's portrayed in the video. It's actually a very cool, fun, very catchy, kind of 80s, kind of like hard rock tune, right? It sounds like something that could have come off the Slip of the Tongue album. Probably not, one of, in my opinion, as fun as it is, one of the weaker tunes on the album, but there's a lot of other really good stuff on here. So the first tune is Good to See You Again, which might be my favorite song on the album, or it's definitely in the top 2 or 3. It's really good, and what I like about it is it kind of goes back to some of that classic Whitesnake, the early years, the kind of the slashing, bluesy slide guitars from Joel on here, and just that kind of real kind of raunchy bluesy vibe that I think the band did so well on all their albums prior to the 87 album. So while it still has that kind of metallic sheen, it's very bluesy, very raunchy, a lot of groove, almost, because Whitesnake kind of did this British Southern rock thing, as weird as that sounds, right? So that's a great, great tune. And then you've got Gonna Be All Right, which comes next, which is kind of like a moodier rocker, but I like it quite a bit. It's got some heft to it. Good vocals by David. David sounds very good on this album, by the way, but I'm a big fan, so I think he's always sounded great. Sometimes live, doesn't have the range that he used to, obviously, because, David is late 60s, right? You can't expect him to shriek and scream forever. But I think, he sounds great on this, okay? Then we've got Shut Up and Kiss Me, which we've already talked about. Then we've got Hey You, Make Me Rock. I like a lot. That's a good kind of anthemic rocker. It's got kind of like the gang vocals and stuff like that. It's really memorable, stadium ready. And I think if you dig like classic Def Leppard and even like a little bit of like 80s Bon Jovi, that's kind of like how the chorus and the vocals are a little bit. Really good song. A lot of great guitar work. What else? Always and Forever is very strong. When I Think of You, Color Me Blue, another really solid rocker. Trouble Is Your Middle Name could be my favorite tune on here. Again, it's either that or Good to See You Again. Trouble Is Your Middle Name. It's got a ton of groove. It's up-tempo. It's hard rocking. Guitars are slashing all over the place. I think Rev and Joel work so well together. And they have fairly distinctive styles, so you can kind of tell who's soloing and what have you, which is kind of neat. So that's a really good tune. Flesh and Blood, really strong song, the title track. Again, kind of epic sounding, which I kind of dig. What else? Well, I Never, another kind of raunchy, fast-paced hard rocker, which I dig quite a bit. Heart of Stone is really good. Heart of Stone is another kind of real, kind of moody, but epic sounding heavy rocker. Vintage Whitesnake. Vintage Whitesnake. What else we got here? Get Up. Another really cool kind of bluesy, jammy rocker, right? Lead guitars flying all over the place. You got Aldridge just bashing up a storm. After All is kind of, and there's a couple little ballads here. We already met, the When I Think of You is kind of a mellow tune. Always and Forever, a little more mellow. But After All is kind of like the little acoustic, bluesy kind of pop number on here. Which the ladies will love. It's got, really nice lyrics about relationships and things like that. And it's a nice little tune. And then the album ends with Sands of Time, which every so often Whitesnake kind of pulls their inner Zeppelin and throws it on the table. And I think the Sands of Time tune kind of like combines like the magic of Forevermore with like Zeppelin's Kashmir. Okay, it's kind of like, it's got that Middle Eastern kind of vibe going on a little bit. And it's kind of moody and atmospheric and epic and heavy and light. Really good tune. Coverdale at the top of his game. So that makes up the regular part of the album. So if you don't get the deluxe, that's what you get. If you buy the deluxe set, you get 2 bonus tracks. You get Can I Do Right for Doing Wrong, which I like a lot. It's a really strong song, and it's got like electric piano, and it's bluesy, and I think if I remember correctly, there's some slide guitars going on there, and again, it takes me right back to like the Come and Taste Me album, or the Ready and Willing and all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool song. And then If I Can't Have You is another cool, kind of gutsy, bluesy, almost southern rock style number from the band. Really strong. All right, and then you get a bonus DVD which has a bunch of videos and all sorts of other things. So a nice little package, a really good album. If you go to www.catranquility.org, you can see my full review where I kind of break down each song and what have you, read a little bit more into it, or little nuances and what have you. I gave this a 4 out of 5. It's a very strong 4 out of 5. And I think after I spend a little more time with it, we might be talking about a 4.5 out of 5. I like this a lot. This, for me, is right up there with Forevermore as kind of the best of this last wave of Whitesnake. And I think this one is going to hold up really, really well. A lot of great tunes here that sound ready for the stage, which is always a good thing, right? Mixed with all those Whitesnake classics. So I dig it. Really good production. Very memorable songs. And I've said this a lot of times, guys. You've heard me say this before. The truth is in the pudding when you play a CD, whether it's a band you love or a band you're unfamiliar with, and after the first listen, already the songs have stuck in your head and you remember melodies and choruses and riffs and things like that. That's kind of how this was. I could have basically done either this video review or the review on the website after my first listen. I waited a couple. I listened to it like 3 times just to let it sink in a little bit more. But really, I was already remembering and humming some of these tunes after the first time I heard it. And that's the mark of a good album. So Whitesnake, glad you guys are still making new music. Glad to see you're still touring. They're out on tour right now. Go ahead and check them out if you haven't. All right, and make sure you get this new album, Flesh and Blood. It's quite good. I'm a fan. If you're a fan, you're going to like it. They all sound great on here. This is a hot lineup. All right, making great new music. I hope they continue to do this because we're all the better for it. So David and company, nice job as always. Visit us on the web at www.catranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're on the mighty YouTube as often as possible. In fact, I'm coming right back at you. Don't touch that dial. Got a review of last night's Michael Schenker Fest coming up momentarily. See you then. Bye-bye.